You're listening to The Watchers, a show where two women from opposite ends of New Jersey try their damn best. As you can tell from the length of this recording, and if you read the show notes, Jody and I are not releasing a new episode of The Watchers today. I want to apologize at the top here. I know we missed one week before last. Turns out September is a really busy month for people in education and nonprofit work. It is conference season for me, and Jody is also very busy. And we had hoped to get a couple of episodes in the can so that we didn't have to leave you on a little break. But it turns out that we do. We will both be back to our regularly busy schedules in a week. And so we will be right back on track with no plans to take any more breaks. Happy first day of fall, everybody. Is it the best day of the year? I was going to say it's the best day of the year. I don't know if it's the best day of the year, but I do love the first day of fall. Yeah, so we will be back next week with Silence of the Lambs. I can't wait to talk about that movie. As I've said, it's one of my favorite movies. It's also a very complicated movie, as you no doubt know. We will get into the Buffalo Bill of it all. I think it's important, and also, I just want to talk about how much I love Hannibal Lecter, so I'm going to do that. While I have you, Jody has a couple of recommendations. I have a couple of plugs that I think you might be interested in, so I'll start with those. First things first is you are listening to this on Monday, September 22nd. Next Monday, September 29th starts, like I said, it's conference season for me. The Wellness Together Conference, the mental health nonprofit that I work for, has their annual conference, and I'm sharing that information not because I'm inviting you to the conference necessarily, though if you do work in youth mental health especially, or education, you would find it very helpful, and it's the best gathering of the year for folks who work in those professions. But the relevant thing for you is that if you happen to be in the San Diego area, Tuesday, September 30th, Wellness Together is hosting an all-star improv jam. It is our comedy night at the San Diego Convention Center. And when I say all-star improv jam, folks, I think these tickets are like $20. And it is a night of improv hosted by Chris Gethard, featuring, I can't believe I get to say this, featuring Rob Hubel, Mary Holland, Paul Scheer, Nicole Byer, and Jason Mantzoukas. Plus probably a couple of more guests to be announced. And like I said, those tickets are $20. You will not see these folks doing improv on stage for less than that. And you don't have to be a conference attendee to attend the improv jam that night. Like I said, September 30th, you can head to wellnesstogether.org/conference to get tickets for that. And it's going to be the best night. I'm so excited. And yeah, if you are a listener in the San Diego area, come out. And if you find me, I'll be walking around, say hello. And then the other note for the conference is the following afternoon, Wednesday, October 1st, we are recording a live podcast. The This Helps podcast is a podcast I produce, and our live recording is featuring Rainn Wilson. And that's just for conference attendees. But what we've opened up to the public is a chance to ask Rainn a question. So if you have a question for Rainn Wilson, it can be about anything. I don't want him to be inundated with questions about The Office. He's a really thoughtful guy who cares a lot about mental health and community and connection. And that's what we really focus on over at This Helps. And if you want to ask Rainn a question, though, you can head to thishelpspodcast.com/ask. There are all the instructions for how to submit a video. If you do submit a video asking Rainn a question, that's your consent to let us use it at the conference and in the episode that it releases later. So so if you do submit a question, it gets asked in the podcast recording, you'll get to hear it later and see it later on YouTube. I think that's it. Come out to the improv jam, submit a question for Rainn Wilson, and I plugged this last week, and I'll continue to plug it because I think most of our listeners are probably East Coasters. Beautiful Anonymous, my other podcast that I produce, hosted by a friend of the pod, Chris Gethard. 500th episode is October 17th in Atlantic Highlands at Smodcastle Cinemas. So that is Kevin Smith's theater, if you remember from Jody and I talking about it kind of constantly. So we will be recording our 500th episode there. You don't have to ever listen to Beautiful Anonymous to come out and have a good time at the recording. We do live shows all the time, and there are always a large handful of people who've never been, and they have a great time. It's interactive and fun and surprising, and we don't know what's going to happen, and I'm really excited for that. So those are all of my plugs. I think that's everything. And on to Jody's recommendations. The new season of Taskmaster started last week, a little over a week ago, and Jody and I are both big fans of that show. You might remember last season we talked a lot about it because Jason Mantzoukas was on, I think, the first American. Definitely the first to have traveled over for it specifically. And the season is also fantastic already. You can watch it, taskmaster.tv, but also up on YouTube, I think. And it's such a fantastic show. If you haven't watched it before, check it out. And also, Jody wants to remind everybody, as she has been reminding us, I'm going to get to it too. Jeff Hiller won the Emmy for Outstanding Supporting Actor in a Comedy Series last week, and well deserved. I know him best as being a fantastic improviser, but I know, you know what? That's what I'm going to go do right now. I'm going to go start watching Somebody Somewhere, and I hope you all do too, and let us know what you think. Oh, and you know what? I have a recommendation as well. One of my favorite bands in the entire world, Motion City Soundtrack, just released a new album called The Same Old Wasted Wonderful World. It is fantastic. It's their first album since 2012. And it is as good as they ever are. I love it so much. I haven't stopped listening to it. Check it out if you are looking for some new music. As a reminder, you can... Wow, leaving you guys without a full episode and then asking for a review. That's something, huh? But if you want, you can leave us a review over at Apple Podcasts. You can send us a message on Instagram. You can email us somewhere. You can email us, watcherspodnj@gmail. Send us a message on Instagram, watcherspodnj. I'm at AQAndreaQ. Jody is Jody_Mim. Let's see if we have any new reviews. I haven't checked in a little while. Oh, we do have a review. It's from Kobelvig. Uh-oh. I've been going through the archives, and I have to say that episode 47, in which you discuss the Doomcoming episode, features some of the best soundboard work I've ever heard. I want to know that Andrea receives the credit she is due for these tasteful yet bombastic choices. I have a fever, and the only cure is more soundboard. Wow. This one's for you, Kobelvig. Thank you so much. Wow, that means a lot. Thank you. I just found an incredible email. One of our listeners. Have I said that yet? That's pretty good. One of our listeners, Melissa M, I will say, sent an incredible email in July. I'm so sorry I missed this. Melissa, I'm going to share it now, though. This is about Romeo and Juliet. You could not have released this episode at a more perfect time. I am currently on vacation in Mexico City. Wow, I hope you had the best time. I was obsessed with Leo in this movie. I fall in age between Andrea and Jody. I was in 8th grade when this came out. I think I saw it in the theater 3 times. I wrote... This is incredible. I wrote a poem about how it made me feel, and I remember waiting impatiently for the VHS to come out and listening to the soundtrack on repeat. Melissa, please. Oh, did you hear Pacey's ears? I think that's probably going to pick up in the mic. That was Pacey's ears. He was shaking his little head. Anyway, please share that poem with us. It would mean everything to me. I hope you still have it somewhere. I learned to play Kissing You on the piano. Oh, I also tried to collect all the little postcards that were in YA Magazine. This movie just took over my whole personality. Relatable. When I was in culinary school, Paul Sorvino came in to sing opera at the Italian restaurant on campus. I happened to be working. He was amazing. Incredible. Thank you so much for that email and for... That really just made my day. I'm gonna send that to Jody too and make sure she sees that. So funny. Okay, I think that's everything, everybody. Thank you so much for bearing with me and Jody and for your patience. We do love making this show so much, and we tried really hard to find a time that worked for both of us to get this together so that we didn't have to make you wait another week. Like I said, we are absolutely going to be back next week with Silence of the Lambs. And then we will keep on trucking. We got a lot of really fun ones coming up for October. Oh, and if you're looking for something to do in the meantime, you could bang yourself in the head, get in the car, and go to New Jersey.